Alright, I've been sick for a few days, in a lot of ways, but mainly physically sick, and I just had a dream, so let's decipher it. So, I just woke up from a dream where it was like my birthday, and in this dream, I have like tons of celebrations in store for me. I don't recall there being a ton of people around ready to support me, but enough people, whether they were hired or just around, who wanted to join in the celebration of me, just to exist near me. And in the dream, I forget if it was my real mother or just someone who looked like her, but I had her, and I had someone who was like a replacement dad. Like, I don't know who this man looked like. It wasn't Flavor Flav, but just imagine any like black older rapper from the early 2000s, and imagine that dude's my daddy. Um, what's that nigga's name? The creepy one. Boo Shice? He was the one in real life. He's known to he had his son get fucked by a stripper. That creep. Boozy. Yeah, Boozy Badass. Yeah. Okay. So I guess in the dream, I remember this nigga's face now. I don't like Boozy Badass in real life, but in the dream, for reference, I had a dad who was kind of like Boozy Badass or like T.I. If you've ever watched the video from T.I. where it's like, you can have whatever you like, just for lore reasons, that's a song my mom used to sing to me when I was younger, before she would, like, I don't know, let me open birthday gifts, or say I could have a snack, or just little shit. It was a cute little thing that she used to do. Anyway, back to what I was saying. In the dream, I guess Boozy Badass or some knockoff Boozy Badass is my dad, and it's my birthday or something. And so we arrive at this kind of like weird, empty, wet field that has some people scurrying around. No one close to me, just people who are around and seem to want to be there for the sake of festivities. Not exactly there for me, but just there to be around whatever's gonna happen for me. Just people. No one special. And then, but they're telling me you're the special birthday girl, so we're gonna give you a lot of special stuff here. And then like, the Boozy Badass guy took me to a mirror and he started showing off all these amazing, beautiful, dangly jewelries that were so, so impressive and special. And he was like, yeah, we could get you all these opal and diamond and this and that on your ears as much as you want. And he was showing how it would look on me, all this gaudy, gorgeous jewelry that made me look like Queen Nefertiti mixed with Cleopatra. And I was in awe at how beautiful I looked. My neck was covered in gold and opal and moonstone and diamonds. But then, right before he secures the clasps on any of them, he takes it off and he says, but first, we need to do this. And he has my mother take me into a tent to get my hair done. And mind you, they try to pretend it's going to be special this time. But then, lo and behold, it turns out it's not, because the hairstylist that you think is going to give me some sort of amazing, professional, beautiful look, she just has like a bunch of random ass shake and go wigs and connectle on, and she's very vague about what she can do. And I think to myself, you know what, we don't need anything too special. I have a wig that I already brought in my purse, and it should be okay. How about this? I just want you to do like some simple little braids on me, just some simple like straight back cornrows. How about that? Something cute enough where I don't need a wig with them, but I can toss a wig onto them. How about that? And the girl was like, yeah, we could do that. And then as the evening goes on, she braids my hair, but she's tight as fuck with my scalp, too much grease on her fingers, it's cold. But the rest of the stuff going around, suddenly I'm transported to like this living room with like a bunch of people are having, like a bunch of black people are having fun, cooking up really good food, just talking, jiving, thriving. And I'm just there kind of like on the side, like thinking, damn, I really want to get in the middle of that. That looks fun. Look at all that good food and the presence of good people and the fun company. And that seems like it could be a great time, right? And then things go on. And then imagine my shock when my hair gets finished. And I look at it and it's like she somehow fucked up simple goddamn cornrows. It was like, and what's so sad is that it's not even based out of reality, because my recent hairstylist said that she could do cornrows, and if you saw the way this bitch somehow fucked up the back of my head with no fucking reason to, like, some of the shit is straight back cornrows. Other, like, in real life, some of the shit is straight back cornrows. Some other shit is just like half cornrowed, and then just they come out from like singles that stick out and jut out in a weird clump in the back of my head. And just, it pissed me off. Like, they look fucked up. You can't wear them without the wig. But in the dream, they looked worse. It was worse. She gave me some Jurassic Park looking ass fucking uneven, tangled ass. Like, some of them were braids, some of them were fluffy twists, some of them were. I looked like a fucking cockatiel or like a rooster. No one knew what the fuck was on my head. But this bitch tried to act like it was normal. Of course she did, because I have a bad history of hairstylists being around me. They never hold themselves accountable and admit when they fucked up. They just want you to tolerate it and pay them and get the reward and the praise all the fucking same. I don't like hairstylists. And I remember the specific way I thought to myself, okay, shit. She's gonna say I owe her $300, even though she has me in this, like, fucking sticky ass house with these random ass people. And it's been loud as fuck. And she's supposed to do a cute look, and she didn't do anything close to that cute look. You know what? I need to throw hands. I mean, I need to leave, and I'm not gonna pay her. But you know what? If she needs to throw hands, then throw hands. And so then I told her, you know what? I'm not paying for this look, and you messed it up. But if you gotta hit me, go ahead and do it. If you gotta whoop my ass and slap me as I get out of here, go ahead and do it. And so it became a thing where someone grabbed me by my shoulders and then willingly took me up to a bunch of women. And the women were pretty, by the way. They were fucking bad bitches. Hey, but like, that's relevant for some reason. But it was like a bunch of people. It was like every single person in this house needs to hit Timidity before she leaves, sort of thing. So that, and even at some point, like, a baby that was just trying to eat its fucking bacon that they made was like, had the chance to be like, do you want to hit Timidity? And then the baby was like, no, 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 no. And then I guess they were like, nah, see, we got to start from scratch, start over. And so they kind of were like, did a fake rewind where now I have to get re-hit by everybody who already hit me. And then also, until this baby hits me, I can't fucking go forward. And then I think eventually they just decided, skip it. And they went up to a few other stupid ass light skinned bitches, who obviously hit me. Or they took their time with it. They were kind of debating, like, do I want to hit her or do I want to fuck her or do I want to appreciate her or what's the deal here? But all I know is they smoked their blunts and they were like, eh. Some of them were like, we don't have to hit her. Some of them slapped me, but very softly. And I remember being disappointed when I was hit softly because it's like I wanted to get hit really fucking hard. Like, and if you're wondering why, Tamia, oh, because in real life I have a kink for that, but that's a long story. It's like I didn't want the pain of getting hurt by a beautiful woman, but at the same time, a pussy hit, like, come on now, that's lame. Like, you gotta hit me in a way where it's, like, hard enough to fulfill my fetish or kink, like, but, like, soft enough where I don't, like, start crying and having total mental health issues after. And some of these bitches were just like, whatever, I don't want to do this. Alright, get yourself out of here. Or whatever the fuck. And then it got kind of weird, and then towards the end of the dream, there was this area that had, like, it was a stalagmite cave. And it wasn't a very cool or impressive one. It was quite dingy, actually. It looked like a post-apocalyptic, like, stalagmite cave where most of them were removed so that they could turn it into, like, a shelter to shield themselves from the cold. And people were just acting like it was normal to live in a fucking stalagmite cave. And I think I know what that represents, but let me continue. And then I remember that it was a bunch of people there just hanging out vibing, and the people in the cave were, like, younger and stuff, just seemingly kids. Some adults, some kids, who fucking knows. Like that weird middle ground where you can't tell if someone's a high schooler or an adult. And then I guess they were asked, like, hey, do any of y'all want to hit Timidity? Some said yes, some said no. But even then, I think by the time I arrived, they just were like, hey, we'll let you go. Just hang out with these kids in this cave for a bit. Like, wait in line with them. And it seemed like the line in the cave was like they were all waiting to get supplies or something before they could leave and go out this room with really nice golden light. But a very small, narrow room that they would need a lot of waiting to get access to. Like, hard to say if it was even a room or just a small little crack. All I know is the light, no matter how dim or bright, it looked appealing, so people were going to wait in line for the chance to approach it and try their luck to pick at it or go through it if they could. And interestingly enough, I noticed that some kids around them were trying to steal supplies. Like, mind you, it's like, it looks like a post-apocalyptic cave that people are staying in for some sort of, like, fucked up world that exists that people have. So, how do I explain this? But it had stuff like little mini radios and, like, food and snacks like Cheez-Its, Oreos, little shitty Danishes that you could get for 25 cents. It's like, Walgreens or whatever. Just shitty food, oatmeal packets, stuff like that. Like people who are gonna go on a journey. Survival kits. And I know some of the kids, like before the dream ended, some of the kids were trying to shove those into their pockets. And like when one of them got caught, like the whole group started giggling, I guess. Like it wasn't as serious to do that. You know what I mean? And then, I guess they were more focused on the fact that the kids were stealing that they forgot all about, oh yeah, we should be trying to punish Timidity for trying to leave with her hair still done from this shitty $300 haircut that we just gave her that she doesn't want to pay. But all tensions ended in that moment. And then I guess the next moment was like, okay, is Timothy gonna get in line next, or what's gonna happen? I didn't get to enjoy any of the food or festivities or awesomeness from that party because someone fucked it up, though. Oh well. Now, I guess I will decipher some things of the dream. I think the stalagmite cave represents my current home because I live in a shithole. Like, see, shithole wall off the bat. Like, several times this week, or for almost a week straight, we didn't have warm water in this apartment. It was just fucking freezing cold ice water or that weird chill water you get before it's like you hit lukewarm. It was just nothing but cold, which sucks because it's already been extremely cold weather. And I have been struggling in a lot of different ways. I've been nutty. I tried to hook up with a guy to prove that I can have sex and break my celibacy without it being a huge thing, and that I can have sex with somebody who knows my worth, and it's a huge thing. But let's just say, before I visited him, my place wasn't that great, and now it's worse. And it's just weird in here. Like, I sleep on this, like, little, like, papasan cushion on the floor right now, with some pillows. But for some reason, it's getting soggy, and I don't know why. I think maybe, I don't know why, but my mattress, knockoff mattress, whatever you'd call this, is just getting wet and damp and moist. And I don't know why, because it doesn't seem like I've spilled anything. But it's just, okay, I'm sleeping on a wet fucking cushion with one single blanket that's getting wet around the edges. And it's freezing fucking cold outside, and it's not like we have insulation inside, and it's just a shitty place that you wouldn't want to be in. And I don't know when my next meal is going to be, and I haven't been thinking about that for a while because I've been downing a lot of NyQuil and sleeping for the last few days to try to get better. But in hindsight, are you really going to get better in conditions like this? And let's just say things with the guy did not work out. I've been leaving him voicemails all day. It's been not good. It's not a healthy thing to do. But it's what I do. And we all do strange things. Now, I guess let's look into some symbolic moments. I woke up from the dream, and funny enough, I was talking to a fella who may have autism, and he was like, oh, certain things in your dream, like mirrors or reflections of us. So for all you know, the people you were fighting in your dream were really just you fighting yourself. And I thought to myself, that might be true. Maybe I am being hard on myself. For context, the guy I hooked up with, he is a man who had a lot of money. Has a lot of money. The type of guy to brag about buying a Rolex. The type of guy where he doesn't even realize he could just make your life a whole lot better if he just spends what he would consider like enough. Like, he could take himself shopping with money that would change your entire fucking life, is what I'm saying. He was a nice dude, a gentleman, and our time together, very short, just a day and a half, was very nice, and it made me feel like a glimpse of how it would be to be a normal person again. To have friends. To have someone that actually wants to be around me, that wants to touch me, wants to fuck me. All that stuff. And I thought he was very cool. And I was desperate to keep him around in my life again because I thought to myself, I can't keep living in the shitty environment that I've got. So I think that's what the golden light at the end symbolizes. You know, the symbolic light at the end of the tunnel. Or in the case of this dream, how in the shitty stalagmite cave there was just like an ominous glowing presence behind them that people had to wait their turn to try to get into. It's like, yeah, I think that's how my brain sees him, as like a symbolic, metaphorical escape, a golden ticket, if we want to get all Charlie in the Chocolate Factory about it. My brain saw him as an escape to a better life. And I wanted him to be. And we could have been that together for each other, but I guess I didn't play my turn right when I had him around me. If it were, I hate it because it's like any other time this summer, I was fine ignoring his messages and not talking to him because I had so much better people to talk to. But then this time around, hey, this dude sucked. I mean, this dude just so happened to be the guy I wanted to have sex with and do nice things with and do this and do that with. And if I had been, if I had more hobbies and less exhaustion and hot water and peace of mind, it would have been easy to treat this guy like I'm gonna block him for 3 days and then maybe talk to him after to handle how I get when I get mentally corrupt after sex due to the whole post sex psychosis thing that happens or the freak out that happens. But sadly, I didn't because I was exhausted from my production in the comedy scene and in the variety show scene. I was getting exhausted. I was really tired. And I wanted, and he brought me so much joy in a short amount of time. I didn't know what to do when I went back to reality. Because imagine this, imagine you go from like hot steaming showers where you're making out with a hot muscular man who cannot stop kissing and touching you in them, and hot tubs and jacuzzis and saunas and deep tissue massages and body oil rub downs and fucking dudes like animals and nice hotels with big, plushy, soft, full pillows. And then the aftercare is out of this world and he wants you to stay the night and you watch salt burn together and you stay up late talking and you wake up the next morning and he still wants to hang out with you. He works from home just to hang out with you more and you get food with him and you're confused because you're like, shit. Like, imagine a dude says he's gonna leave like around 9 or 10 a.m. while you're still asleep, but you can stay in the room until midnight, and I mean until afternoon, and then you find out that he chooses to actually just work from home to keep being around you silently. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if this does he like me, does he not? And shit got weird fast, and I don't want to talk about it. But I will say, I think I probably was beating myself up in the dream. Like, I think my buddy who I was talking to in real life was right. Because in the dream, it was interesting, like, black people, like black women who looked similar enough to me. Not exactly, definitely not, but, you know, people who I thought were family who looked like family, and they were beating me up. And it's just interesting that it's like, I don't know how to put it. I don't quite know how to decipher the scene where I'm getting slapped by a bunch of people, but I don't know. I guess it's just me thinking, wow, I fumbled. I fucked up. I had it in my hands, a guy who was so low self-esteem and really, really liked my presence one way or another. And it was all there. All the cards were laid out perfectly for me to handle this situation and utilize it, and I didn't take it. And I fucked everything up, and I can't get it now. I'm a fucking idiot. And maybe that's what that symbolized. I don't think in the dream it was about the hair at all. I think it was just symbolic for me beating myself up. Because I thought to myself, I could have used this man to make my life better. And instead, I was too needy. I was too clingy. I was too much. And I still beat myself up over it because I just keep replaying it in my head like, which point did I fuck up? And actually, yeah, I think that's why. I think in my head, it's like I keep replaying certain instances like, where did I fuck up? Did I not ask, like, when should I have asked certain questions or done certain things? Or would it have been a better outcome if I did just get home and block him for several days and ignored how bad my reality was, even though it was miserable? And tried and tried and tried and tried. so that then I wouldn't rely on him for my only form of happiness and serotonin and dopamine. And then pretended like everything was fine, like, oh yeah, I went home safely. I've just been reading books and drinking chai tea and pretending like I'm such a luxurious bad bitch, as if I'm not just laying on my floor right now on a wet fucking cot, miserable as fuck and mentally ill. And I think that really is it. I think that's why it kept rewinding in my dream, is because I kept rewinding my thoughts and being like, I haven't felt bad about it enough. And I'm gonna keep making the same mistake of having some rich, low self esteem guy who can make my life better in my hands. And I play my cards wrong by having sex too soon, or by showing too much emotion, or not lying when I could have lied. Like, just lie and say that I've been to Paris or Italy. He won't fucking know. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, I could say out, like, in just certain things to brand myself a certain way and get a certain outcome. Because, these men will always brand themselves as a sweet guy that genuinely cares about you. Until next thing you know, it comes to talking afterwards. And the next thing you know, they're busy. Or you're too much for asking for the same bare, like, treatment of treating me like a person that they did before they got what they wanted from you. The stalagmite cave was also an interesting touch because I had been thinking about that guy, Mitchell. And if you're new here and you're like, who's Mitchell? Mitchell was that guy I had a hotel fling with last winter. We don't talk about him that much anymore, thank God, but we used to talk about him a lot on this channel. For Mitchell, I remember he talked about so many things wrong with him. But, like, one thing that he did was spelunking and cave diving. But it's also came up with other people who have mentioned wanting to travel with me. They always ask, where would you like to travel to? And I always say this, and I say, I would like to go to Belize, because I heard they have amazing caves full of stalagmites that are beautiful that you can swim in, and it's a great time. And he was like, that sounds amazing, we should do it. And people always say that, and then guess what happens? Exactly. And I find stalagmite caves to be very interesting. Kind of beautiful, actually, depending on the ones that you go to. But it was interesting that in the dream there was no real stalagmites, just a handful. But it didn't look cool, it just looked sad and barren. It wasn't like a cave of sparkly gemstone sharp rocks hanging from the ceiling to admire. It was just a cold, dark cave with sharp rocks that were dull and dirty and bland. Nothing fascinating. But we already know that symbolizes my home life and my bedroom and my general life in general. I found it interesting how in the dream there was a young black girl character who was a lot like me, and actually, now that I think about it, she was wearing an outfit that younger me wore in a short film that I made when I was younger, and she was kind of trying to steal supplies. This is relevant because recently I have been thinking to myself, wow, sometimes I feel cursed or punished for things that, like, I could have done to escape poverty but didn't. For example, do you know how many times I've had a date with a man who has more money than I can ever fathom, and then they'll just leave me with their Amex card and they're like, hey, can you just make sure you hand this to the waiter when she comes around? And I'll be like, yeah, sure. And then you know what my dumbass does? I gently wait for the waiter to come around. And the thought does come to mind. I'll be like, oh, no one here knows that this is a guy I've only had like a date or two with. No one, like, he doesn't know my last name. He doesn't know where I live. He doesn't know shit about me. I know how to use someone's card and get stuff from it easily without getting caught. I could if I really wanted to. Like, you know? But in real life, I always choose not to. I choose not to take. I choose not to steal. I even when it but sometimes it'll just be the longest fucking wait. The waitress will still never come around, and I'll look at the other tables and it seems like they're not looking at me. They're zoned out in their other conversations, but I'll get worried that someone's gonna notice me take a picture of a card, or even like I thought, what if I try to slide it over my direction? What if I pretend to take a selfie, but I really just slide my hand over the card and then flip it over, record the details, and then put it back in place? Would if someone notice? Would someone care? Maybe someone would. Maybe someone wouldn't. But the odds of someone in that moment, like, I was worried that my date would come back and we'd talk, and then someone would walk over, like, excuse me, baby, this lady was just recording your card. Is she your wife or something? And, like, fuck it up for me and I lose my meal ticket. So I choose to be a good person. Maybe because I am a good person. Maybe because I just want to keep my fucking human meal ticket. Who has money and can afford to get me the extra fruit and bacon at the fucking breakfast diner or whatever? And you know what happens? I end up. Usually, those same men end up doing some really creepy shit. Even recently, this very wealthy man I was dealing with, he pissed me off so bad. The way that he chose. The way that he specifically fucking chose. Let's just say on a date with a wealthy man I was with recently, who, like, things were going pretty well, but once we got to this event, he kept being handsy. He kept putting his hand in places that he didn't need to put them. He kept doing that thing where you start out the hand at the higher hip and then try to lower it in the least casual way possible, like a fucking creep. And then when I chided him for doing that, he kept doing the other method, which I know very well men have tried, where you put your hand at the base of a woman's hips during an event and then you casually move your fucking hand, but then you oh so accidentally let the back of your hand grace or graze or smack even the back of a girl's ass cheeks. For me, he was grazing it. And he did that move so many times, and it was just making me uncomfortable. I was like, this is fucking gross. And I remember at some point he kept doing it so much that I just kept moving his hand either up or away from my body. And I started moving away from his touch because I finally reached the point in my life where I realized, right, this man doesn't owe me shit, and if he was really this creepy on the date, I don't owe him a second one, and if I'm already considering not seeing him again, I could just set my boundary now, and he fucking knows better. I can just choose my own comfort first instead of choosing one out. Like, you know what? Like, setting physical boundaries is important, and if both routes lead to me never seeing a man again, I'm gonna choose the one where I put his hands down a lot quicker instead of letting them linger in the hopes of getting a call back, you know what I mean? For survival's sake. And so I was moving those man's hands and scooting away from him. But I remember during the event, at some point, he tried to forcefully kiss me. If I recall correctly, I jolted away from him and borderline elbowed him in the gut. And I was like, you're creeping the shit out of me, stop. Let's just say we haven't talked again since then. He was ridiculous. And a part of me doesn't regret not taking his Amex card, but another part of me is, wouldn't it be nice to have your hair done and get a few items that you need, or even some groceries with the money of a man who will just keep wasting his money on $100 Uber gift cards to send to girls half his age so that he can hopefully grope them at events. Sorry, I had to blow my nose, but I'm also getting a bit overheated there. Jesus. You can tell I'm sick, but I am recovering. I'm sure you can notice. Both sick mentally and emotionally, but I'm recovering in both ways. Now, as I said before, I was dealing with some shit. Also, in real life, like, yeah, another guy I dealt with, we remember this one, Alex, from like last fall, around like September or so. He was such a weak ass bitch. I didn't know how much money he had, but I remember that on the third date, he started doing negging tactics and trying to be emotionally volatile and super fucking weird. And he was just such a fucking asshole in a way that made me like, wow, this is how you truly are? I wish I took pictures of your Amex card. The best revenge would be a big Amazon order of some of the sexiest stilettos and a nice fucking hairdo to completely change the girl I am so that it could be a girl you can never fucking have or touch or think you can even talk to this way. And then, let's see, finally. There's me. I'm trying to think of where I want to go from here. But yeah, those were instances where it's like, damn, it's like you're getting punished for not, like, sometimes it's happened so many times where it's like it feels like a punishment that I'm just not going, okay, creepy old dude, thanks for leaving me with your card, or creepy slightly older dude, here we go, poop poop, pictures of your credit card taken while we're at this fancy restaurant, and I get to go home and get myself a nice little makeover as a punishment without having to pay for it. But no, instead, I leave these men behind. And then I usually just feel sad because it's like, okay, there goes my friend or perceived almost friend. There goes my meal ticket. There goes my company. There goes the joy and the opportunities I could have had. There goes everything. And I just feel like shit after. And I have to feel like shit on a cot on the floor during cold, foggy weather, not knowing when my next meal will be. Fucking miserable. And that shit sucks. It does. And it makes me really resent people more. Like, there's so many reasons to resent people, but I have to say, rich people you resent because it's like, you know damn well that it's like within the next few days they'll fly out to Ibiza and do a million fucking things with some girls that they just met who they'll perceive as high value or low value based on small little moves they make perfectly in order or out of line. And then one girl will get treated like shit and the other gets treated to the fucking world. But then, like, 10 times more than you ever will. And then you, on the other hand, you have to always feel just like you fucked up because you thought that this person would be worthy of care or that was worthy of being cared about, and you learn the hard way that they're not. I don't know. It's just like you leave. It's like it's kind of like the equivalent of like, okay, this dude gave me his card, but I like him enough and I trust him to be cool. I'm not gonna take a picture of it. Mind you, I don't care much about crime. I care more about like my back, my spine, and my health. But I also think to myself, he seems like a cool, solid dude, and he hasn't caused me issues so far. Let's see where things go naturally. And then you find out dude is like gropey, rapey McGee or something, or just worse. And it's like, ugh, god damn it. And then you just feel terrible because it's like, okay, here's a guy who I gave a chance to, and he fumbled it. Except that the thing is, even though he fumbled it, I'll be the one who's punished because I'll go back home to a shitty low pressure shower with mold in it and like unstable housing and miserable, freezing, fucking uninsulated apartment with fucking water damage in it in the walls and inconsistently clean clothes and this and that. It's so irritating. It's so it's like, okay, he treats me like shit and I leave, except my divine reward is that I get to come back to mold and cold and miserableness and think about all the amazing things that could have happened if that guy were just not such a fucking asshole. And he gets to, go to galas and parties and events with his rich boy money and continue life totally fucking fine, doing better than I will any second of this day. And that makes me physically angry in a way that you cannot explain. I also find it interesting how in the dream, specifically, I'm paraded around like, ooh, you could get this jewelry on your neck and your ears. You could be treated to these dresses, to this, to that, but you need your hair done. And then it comes, and it's like, it's so funny how getting my hair done has multiple times been like a make or break thing for how I'm treated by society. I notice a difference. Like, I have still pulled men while having an afro, but you will notice significantly less. And that's the thing where it's like if you're black, poor, and trying to escape a shitty environment, you cannot take a gamble like that. It's either nice, long, flowy braids that make you look ethereal, maybe even exotic, sexy, rare, a prize to be beholded, or long, straight, shiny hair. Oh, look, she assimilates. She's like us. She is like us. She is like us type shit. And then they'll let you access into the rooms because you're perfectly well groomed, and then you can have anything you want, almost anything you want, as long as you shut the fuck up, keep your legs closed, smile when you want to, but also not that much. Don't be too happy, don't be too eager. It's a lot of fucking rules just to keep some of these idiots off your radar, but still have enough of their attention. It's irritating, and I hate it. But you know what? I'll do it. I've done it before and I'll do it again. And I'm okay with that. But I will say it is interesting that in the dream, it's like you could have all these amazing things if you have your hair done. And it's true. Because the second I put on even the shittiest wig I own, all these men will offer me the fucking world. Sometimes I'm still off with the world even without my hair done, but let's just say, like, sometimes we notice what does and what doesn't. Also, interestingly enough, I have a very bad history of getting my hair done because I'm always dealing with hairstylists that don't take accountability for their actions and they just play in my fucking head, play in my fucking faces any way they can. And then any sort of reaction given their way is seen as disrespect. And I think that's interesting considering the details of how me and Spa Date viewed into things, the specific ways. Because if you think about it, he, like, I'll put it this way, let's just say he was fucking up my vibes and playing in my face, and I didn't like it. So I was like, I'm not doing this shit anymore, and he reacted poorly to it. A lot more details than that, but that's as vague as I want to get. Let's just say it went badly. Like, and it's still gonna go badly. But for the most part, he he just has issues. Like, and it's just recently I've been so stressed because I've been dealing with these types of people. I mentioned it in another video, but it gets very annoying meeting repeatedly the types of people where it's like they start shit. They do exactly the opposite of what you ask. They know what you're dealing with and they still fuck with you. Like, whatever you say and that you want doesn't matter, and they'll just do whatever the fuck they want to you. Because, hey, fuck it, they have free will and they can fuck with you as much as they can. But I do hate that in the dream I just said, you know what, y'all can beat me up if you want. And instead of just breaking free and being like, you know what, none of you beat me up, I'm gonna fucking go and leave. Because you do not have the right to make me feel bad because you fucked up in my hair and left with grace. And even if they tried to swing on me, you know what, it would have been better if I tried to take control of the situation in the dream instead of just letting them line me up and repeatedly whack me, whether I would have been okay with it or not. Because it's like, you know what? I knew what I wanted. I asked for simple, straight back cornrows that were beautiful and elegant, and they gave me they played in my fucking head. If anything, I should have been the one throwing punches. Why wasn't I? And I guess that's just like something I'm working on these days. I don't know. This ties into real life. I mentioned it recently. I was running an event. I told someone, hey, you could get the bullet slot for the first person to go up to perform in front of this huge audience if you help buy me Kit Kats or Hershey Golds for the event. A girl said bet, and then she showed up 30 minutes late at the start of showtime with saltwater taffy and peach rings, and had a big attitude my way and to multiple other people, and then still had the nerve to have an attitude my way after the fact. And shit got hella out of pocket, let's just say. But eventually I had to go off on that bitch because I was like, you will not treat me that way. I remember when I was dealing with that other wealthy dude, hey, a while back. I liked him a lot. I remember I told him, hey, listen, I feel like I'm looking for more high contact friendship, and I'm not putting that on you. I know you're busy with the move and everything. I want to make sure that you're feeling safe, and I need to prioritize my emotions right now. How about this? How about we wait for a month, and then when you get settled into your new apartment after moving, we can maybe touch base and see where things go from there. Perfectly reasonable, right? This nigga responded to me saying that I was feeling mentally unstable and just trying my best, but that I wanted space and still cared about him and wanted to still be friends and maybe even sex down the line. He reacted with so much passive aggressive bullshit ass hate from his ego, and it felt like a punishment. And it was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And so, you know what happened? I popped off on his ass too. And it's one of those things where, I don't know, maybe in the dream I just thought to myself, do I want to pop off or do I just want to let whatever happens next happen? And I guess I chose to be docile about it. But it's hard to be docile in situations where even when you try your best to be accommodating to someone who did you wrong, they will just try to do you longer. Because if you think about it, she fucked up my hair, she played in my face, and then I still have to go around and get hit by every single person in the room who I thought was a cool person I could like, trust, or get along with before getting tossed out. Why couldn't she just let me leave? She already fucked up my hair enough. And she could tell I didn't enjoy it. Or genuinely, why didn't she just offer to take my hair down and then send me on my way? A lot of other options. It's like I'm almost at the core of what I want to say about that. But the frustration is like, there's another relevant thing is that sometimes I think to myself, once I get my hair done, this is it. I'm gonna be at every rich bar flirting with every cute guy on summer break from his college who obviously has money. I'm gonna be out here flirting with all the tech nerds. I'm gonna be out here doing this, and that, and having such a good time. And then even when I did get my hair done this year, I didn't do that. Or ironically, my hair would be too fucked up, or my wigs would be too fucked up, or my anxiety and self-esteem would at times be too fucked up, or I would just think to myself, do I really want to waste time on a Friday night going out to some random fucking bar in the fucking cold so I can like get creeped on by some dude, hope that I don't get roofied, and then go home on the bus, no matter how luxurious I feel that night. And then what? Then what? What happens next? That's the stuff I think about. So instead, it's like, you know what? I'll just stay home and just meet a dude on Hinge and schedule a date that way. There's so many emotions I feel about this stream and so many layers, but I guess one of them is just it's like I'm so close to knocking it. But it's like I'm trying to do the comparison to real life and what happened in the dream. Because in real life, people will play in my face. And it feels like I'm losing if I let them. It feels like a million fucking punches to the gut, to the chest, to more for trying with them. Sometimes I will try to be the bigger person. I truly do. I will give grace. I will extend grace and show mercy. And someone will still be like, we need to beat your ass for this. Like with the bitch with the candy recently. I was fine with the candy. I was like, hey, you seemed upset. Did someone upset you before the event? It's okay. Like, we understand. And guess what? She still tried to be a snarling fucking dog my way. And then I had to, like, lash out back at her. With Spa Date Dude, I tried to fucking leave him voicemails letting him know that I thought he was truly wonderful and beautiful and interesting and a cool dude, actually. But that he needs to stop hating himself and acting suicidal over, like, these perceived flaws because, like, he seems like such a cool dude and I don't want him to one day wake up and realize he was never as ugly or as dumb as he thought he was. And then he still was like, you left me some very nasty voicemails. It's like, no, bitch, the only nasty voicemails I left your way, that, like, the only reason you would see those as nasty is because the part of you that wants to keep hating yourself is mad that I insulted that part of you. Like, you're just mad that it's like the voice in your brain that's like, fuck you, Taylor, eat shit and kill yourself, you're so fucking ugly and no woman wants you. The second that I'm like, hey, Taylor, actually you're pretty cool and you should get rid of that voice, that same voice is like, tell Tamia to go fuck herself and that she's a vicious nasty bitch. It's like it's like, yeah, it's like you're just mad because I'm telling you to get rid of this thing that doesn't serve you anymore. And you're taking it out on me instead of yourself. You don't want to improve as a person, you just want to lash out. And it's so stupid. I think Taylor would have caused me issues no matter what down the line. He already was big scale and small scale. He wasn't the best dude. Like, even the way he's handling communication has been, even when things weren't that bad. And also, even now, I have told him even now, I was like, I'm feeling mentally unstable and we should cut contact. He sent some snarky ass voice messages and like text messages my way. And then I texted him, I was like, before I read these, are these messages that would seem like a smart thing to tell someone who is mentally ill and already going through it? Because I'm just saying that's a bad idea. And lo and behold, they were indeed messages that were a bad idea. So I did as I fucking do when I want to pop off on a man. He got angry and sent me more insulting voice messages as if that was going to do anything for him but make me fuck him up harder. And yeah, he gets to see the end chaotic result of that coming up soon. And then afterwards, I will feel bad, but I will move on with my life and repeat the cycle as fucking always. But yeah, let's just say I'm so tired of people making mistakes. And I try to gracefully, like, I'm glad that in the dream I didn't just say, I'll give them $300 and leave. I'm glad that I was like, no, I'm not giving you your money. But I am a bit disappointed that in the dream I was like, you can beat my ass as I leave, though. It's like, no, I need to be better about setting boundaries and being like, you will not treat me this way. You will not talk to me this way. You messed up with this, and so I'm holding you accountable for it. And you can be as mad as you want, but don't you dare cross that fucking line. And I'm figuring out how to translate that into real life. So I guess it's also reflective not just of how I date, but also just in other areas of my life, how I'm handling letting people disrespect me. Like, am I letting them pull me around and do dumb shit with me, or am I being stern and quick with it? You know what I mean? Anything else? Oh, the boozy badass guy. I think that was just like reflective of like how I'm looking for a provider or a sponsor type. But how, like, not quite as a replacement for a dad, but these dudes low key get off with that. Being able to come in and be like, hey, look at me. I'm the one who's balling you out, taking you to nice places, doing good for you. Even recently, this nice guy, who I don't like that much, but I think he kind of likes that I don't like him that much because men are weird. If you like them too much, they don't like that. If you don't like them, you're the best girl in the world. So that's why I've still had this guy around. But, you know, I also think he's chill enough, is what I'll say. To put it simply, this one guy I've been seeing, he heard I was sick, and he was like, hey, do you need anything? I was like, I would like NyQuil and maybe some, like a Hostess cupcake or a Spider Man popsicle. This man shows up with NyQuil, six Spider Man popsicles, Hostess cupcakes, and then also an electrolyte drink. And he was so sweet. But I do remember the way that I put on a headscarf before he could see me because I didn't want him to see how fucked up my hair was. And I remember the specific way that he kind of like flinched when he saw me. Mind you, I didn't look how I look right now. Like, no crust on my eyes, no crust on my nose. Lips actually had some color in them and looked relatively moisturized despite being dehydrated. But, no makeup still. But even then, I looked perfectly fine without makeup. And then I had a headscarf on that, like a very pretty one, that covered my hair and looked elegant on me. And I still remember the way he looked. Not quite as if he saw a ghost, but maybe I can't tell his reaction. It looked almost like a form of like disappointment or shock. I don't know how to explain it. It could be maybe that's not what he was thinking, but for a half second it did look like that. And let me just say, something about being a cute, busty, skinny girl in a form-fitting sweater dress with a sparkly headscarf on and glowing, beaming skin who's still ill, and you come up to a door to see a man, and then he looks at you like, eh. Yeah, I see why in my dream it was like I see why in my dream I had boozy badass being like, you could have all this opal and diamond, moonstone, all this exquisite jewelry, but first you need your hair done. And then the coolest joke of my life is that almost every time I've gotten my hair done, if it hasn't been atrociously bad, it has ended atrociously bad. It just hardly goes well for me. They usually fuck up my hair one way or another. And if not that, then it costs an arm and a leg. Sometimes both. It costs an arm and a leg to look this fucked up. And it's tiresome. But yeah, I guess the boozy badass character must have symbolized like, oh, don't you want a guy who's a sponsor, who is so openly bawling that he will treat you to anything you want, just because he wants to see you smile, to see you happy, to see you well fed and kept and adored. Don't you want to be like that? To have frivolous items in like security. And it was interesting that the opal he was showing me was ironically like opal and diamond jewelry I was looking at. That I was kind of like, damn, I wish guy got this instead. Why didn't I ask him for this or that? But I remember why, because on my date with spa date guy, when we were looking at jewelry together, there were all these other pieces, but only one stuck out to me that I'd been thinking about the entire day. And he was like, you want this piece, huh? And it was still a good price, I thought to myself, I could ask him for a much more expensive piece. I could. But then those aren't my style. Those aren't my style. I want these. And it was like some fingernail sized opal and diamond, like pave diamond jewelry. Beautiful, iridescent, just my style. And I thought to myself, I would like just these. And if I see him again, I can ask for some fancier shit later down the line. And of course, he'll want to see me again. Just to be hit with the reality that I probably will never see this man again in my life. Tragically. And then on top of that, very, very sad that it's like I've been kind of looking at the Etsy pages where it's like more exquisite jewelry that I forgot about, and I'm just like, damn it, I could have had amazing, dangly expensive looking, huge medallion jewelry that looked like something a runway model would wear. Because that's been my goal this summer. I was like, I want Zaza Gabor level jewelry. I want to look like a runway model. I want that huge babam jewelry. But in that moment, I liked his company so much. And also, like, I just genuinely wanted those small little earrings. I thought, you know what? I like some cute little stud earrings so that even when I have my afro out and people might judge me for that, they'll see the cute, relatively big sized, and comfortable earrings that I'll have. And I'll look in the mirror and I'll love them and I'll feel good in them. And bear with me as I go through this next topic. A part of me, I guess, was like, getting the big earrings would hurt my ears and maybe validate me to other people. Other people might be like, damn, this bitch has money. Look at those huge fucking opal and diamond earrings she's got that are damn near the size of her skull. And they would have looked amazing and made my neck look queenly and made me have to hold my head up high no matter what. And I would have looked amazing like Diane Carroll, Zaza Gabor, Queen Nefertiti, everything. I would have looked gorgeous in the more, like, slightly more expensive earrings that would have cost like $50 more, $80 more, and I could have asked him for it. But I didn't, because you know what? In that moment, I didn't care about what other people, how to be perceived by other people, how to be wanted by other people, how to look good for. I didn't want a pair of uncomfortable fucking earrings that would have looked gorgeous on me, but I would have very rarely worn. That would have stretched my fucking earlobes, or I would have needed to take off like a few minutes into an event from like earlobe pain or neck pain or anything. I didn't think about that. I thought to myself, I want something that when it arrives, it'll feel like a precious little cute birthday gift for myself. And I will look and feel amazing. And that's what I thought. I didn't want what would impress other people because I'm already impressive, and frankly, they would just be a plus, and even then noticeable. But as time went on, I thought to myself, the places I go, opal doesn't shine in the dark. So I would go to a dark nightclub or a dark event, and what? Would the diamonds sparkle as much as I hoped, or would they just look like shitty rhinestone? Would the opal be iridescent, or would it just look like clear, weird blobs in the dark? And as time went on, I guess with things ending with this dude, I thought to myself, shit, I should have ordered the more expensive earrings anyway. Because why wouldn't I want the shit that makes me look like a supermodel that I could like wear in like photographs and look like a bad bitch to keep in public? Why would I not want the earrings that I could easily say cost $1,000 or looked $1,000 to attract men who then think, damn, I need to get her something $1,000, even if they were or were not $1,000. Why wouldn't I think ahead like, hey, get the more expensive pair, and then deep down I can cancel the order, get the Etsy credit, and buy the earrings I actually want? But I don't know. Foolish me actually thinking that me and this guy were gonna last more than one fucking date with each other. More than a single 24 hours, that I was gonna see him again and be able to show off the earrings and maybe get another pair next time I saw him, and that we would have a nice, amazing rest of our summer visiting his aunt's fucking ranch in Aqua Dolce and doing all this and doing all that. How dare I actually, for once, think that I met someone who just so happens to have a lifestyle that I would like for them to provide for me, but then that they could also stick around and like me. But it's okay. I'll live. But a part of me just is resentful, and I think in the dream, when it is my character getting beat up by all those women, I think it is reflective of me beating myself up about it. Sometimes I do want to beat myself up over it, sometimes I don't. I guess in my head it's like, oh, I asked for something I liked in the moment. Couldn't that just be enough? I was having a hard week. He offered me a spa and some beautiful earrings that I wanted, and I chose what I knew would be comfortable for myself and look good on me. It was a great time. And can't they be great earrings whether or not I see him again? But then another part of my brain's like, no, I should have asked for the most expensive earrings I could, and then expected him to never see me again. And then if he ever asked to see me in the earrings, I could just claim I lost them or I don't know. But then what would I even do in that hypothetical situation? It's like a weird fucked up puzzle where it's like, but a big thing is like, I expected to see him again. And wouldn't it have been weird to either have him buy me earrings that I didn't fucking want, as much as the ones that I made him get me? And then, two, would have he eventually have asked to see me? And of course, because that was the allure. And the depressing reality is he won't see me in those earrings. And so now a part of me is like, damn, I should have asked for the more expensive ones. And then just fucking expected him to never see me again, because why would he? And then use the 270 something that he could have spent on like more expensive earrings for, like, and had it refunded to my card to get my fucking hair done to be better niggas than him, or to fucking uh sorry, or I could have gotten my fucking that Etsy credit and used it for like actual, like, if I didn't refund it to my card to use for like groceries and getting my hair done, then I could have used it for like an impulse Amazon buy, like some clothing to look like a bad bitch or this or that. Ouch, fuck me. Or if I didn't use it for any of that, I could have just straight up like used the Etsy credit to buy like a cute little gown that I like, a Habesha Kemi, or I could have gotten like multiple pairs of cute stud earrings, or multiple expensive jewelry, or expensive whatever the fuck I wanted. Like, but it doesn't matter because deep down I know it doesn't matter. I bet on this guy. He sadly left. It's okay because I didn't lose. I got the pair of earrings that I did choose. God bless and amen. And they're beautiful. But you know what? Since I didn't want to wait for the reward of getting abandoned by this man to come for a month, I canceled the order. So now I have roughly 188, yeah, I forgot, 188 bucks in Etsy credit, and I can use it on whatever I want. I can buy myself a shit ton more gemstones. I can get myself custom made jewelry if I wanted to. I could get myself multiple pairs of opal jewelry instead of just one pair of overpriced ass earrings. I could get a local brand from Philadelphia that makes even more gorgeous quality opal and diamond earrings, and I could get a set of earrings, a ring, and a necklace, all for the same fucking price, and still look expensive and beautiful. And I've done fine. I've done well. I know that I'm just overthinking certain things out of a scarcity mindset and a fear, but I'm trying the best I can, is what I'll say. And I'm doing the best I can, and so far, not bad. Not bad, all things considered. And fuck Taylor, the spa date guy. Like, deep down, I know to myself he could have communicated better. Was he replying within like 10 to 30 minutes at times? Yeah, fast enough to be interested, but he was still responding relatively disengaged and aloof and not very much efforty. And when I straight up was like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave because I don't feel like you're really that interested in me. It's not like he said he was, and he certainly didn't say he wasn't, and he could have responded a lot sooner. So fuck him. I deserve a man who will actually be like, wait, no, I do like you, and I do want to try for you. And you know what's so funny? As I cry about Spotted Guy, I have Michael, and he's another guy who openly, does he have as much money? Maybe not. Maybe not. Or maybe he does, and I just haven't cared that much. But either way, Michael is the guy who also has been like, oh, I'd get you opal jewelry if you wanted to, because I think you're worth it. And me and Michael actually have more in common, seemingly closer in age. Michael isn't as openly self-hating. He seems sweet, and we're taking things slow. And Michael, I'll put it this way. Let's compare Michael and Taylor. Taylor, did I have a fun time with him? Yeah. But it's not realistic or practical. And that's a factor to why things didn't work out. But you know what is working out? Michael. Michael is the type of guy that's like, hey, Timothy. Like, I forgot to mention, Michael is an interesting fella because he actually stalked me online after we were gonna have plans to meet after 4th of July, but for communication issues, it didn't work out. You know what I did? I called him so many fucking bad words you can think of. And I felt bad about it, but not really because I thought his actions were stupid. So the date got canceled, and I thought I'm probably not going to talk to him again. You want to know what he did? He stalked me online. He found my Instagram. And he watched every video I made because he just was very curious what I was up to. And he got to see what type of person I really am like. How I'm like when my hair's done, how it's like in different stylings, how it's like out with friends and doing this and doing that. And he still chose to like what he saw. And maybe he just was like, maybe it wasn't discussed when he saw me a few days ago when I was sick. Maybe it was just shock and happiness after seeing me for a while. Maybe he was just in awe of my beauty and nervous, because I forget he has those big, sad puppy dog eyes that I have to admit are pretty adorable. And you know what? He's the type of guy that knew I was at home and sad and miserable and stressed. And he was like, I'm going to get her NyQuil and sweets because I think she deserves it, an electrolyte drink so she can be healthy. Practical. And he's sweet. He seen me with my natural hair and he hasn't been scared off. He's seen me angry and sad and he hasn't been scared off. He's seen me sick and he's still here. I think I prefer that a lot more anyway, right? The type of guy who tries to communicate with me, that I can have phone calls with and talk to. And yeah, I think I prefer that a lot more than anything Tatum can ever do for me. Like, and no offense, it's like, I'd much rather go for Michael because it's like that's the type of guy who can actually do what he promised. And communicate and not require sex. And lets me have a life of my own and much more. That's how I feel. So yeah, and that feels good. I guess I've just been feeling a lot bad about everything for a lot of reasons, a lot worse than I could ever imagine, and I don't like feeling bad. It's so funny how me just trying to have sex and prove to myself that I can have an enjoyable, intimate experience with the person without it all folding in my life backfired, but you know what? It's okay because I have some beautiful jewelry on the way, some Etsy credit to utilize. I have another man who has a lot of money and also who actually has a genuinely sweet and caring personality who tries for me, like the type of guy that puts roses in the fridge for me. Like Taylor's not the only guy who's a gentleman, and it seems like Michael's an actual genuine one. I like that. And I still have like my hot waters back on. I can order myself a new blanket or something soon. And I'm okay. Oh, and an interesting last final part to analyze, because you know how I talked about the sponsorship stuff. I'll put it like this. Like, also, I meant to say, it's like I care, like, honestly, I forgot that at the end of the day, I care much more about, like, stability than I do about, like, frivolous things. It'd be nice to have amazing, beautiful jewelry to show off to my grandkids, but it's like, I can live, you know? I can live. There's always going to be someone else who can buy me new jewelry, and it's okay. It doesn't have to be me using, like, me using the Etsy stuff that Taylor got me. Like, I gotta put this, Taylor does not need to be the one to get me those sets of earrings. I'm pretty sure if I wanted to, I could ask Liam or Morgan or Michael or anybody else, and they'd get me those earrings. He doesn't have to be the one who unlocks that experience, because that would be a scarcity mindset of believing that only one man can do what I want. And let's see. Yeah, the final part of my dream, the very tip top, because I guess I'm reorganizing my dream in that manner. Oh, also, I'm sure I already mentioned this, but the party scene where it was like tons of food and socializing and people, I suppose that's me being envious about how some of these rich people I date, like, even when they don't have like endless galas and balls and crazy shit, how sometimes you just envy them because it's like these are people who just simply have money and like consistent food and like people around them in a community that cares and loves them. But you know what? I'm doing well at fostering that in real life because even with the people who started shit at the recent event I threw with the candy and the saltwater taffy, it was still a hit otherwise. And I still have people coming up and talking to me and being eager to chat with me and socialize with me. And we had a really fucking fun time together. And it was great. And funny enough, a guy who I met at that event I threw, that I've been making into a third space, a community space for a while, he was the reason I made this video. Because he said maybe I should decipher my dream and get to the bottom of it. And he's sweet, and he's a guy who actually wants to talk to me and socialize. And he might have autism, and I'm cool with that. But he's just looking to make friends, and I want friends and community. And let me just say, it feels very good to know that when I threw that event, now I have a room full of people who remember my name, and I remember theirs, and they actively look forward to seeing me every Monday. That is a blessing I hope to foster more often. And I'm grateful that I still have friends and people around me. Plus, even as I've been sad about Taylor, I've been reached out to my other friends from LA who moved out here who like me. It's been like, yeah, thanks, David. I'm glad you're like David's talking to me about fucking Tyler the Creator and my trippy ass dreams. Liam's coming back, whether it's because he wants pussy or because he was sick from tonsillitis recently, so he's just checking in. But he's a sweet guy, and honestly, even when he first like checked in on me when I was really feeling suicidal about the Taylor shit, he was there to let me know that it's okay and that there's always good around the corner to keep going. And I appreciate that. He's still sweet to me. And I still have people who care. And I'm not as hopeless as I think. And I guess yeah, I have more than I think. Even today, I was like, oh God, what am I gonna eat next? And then I remember, oh, I have my buddy Sean. I could be like, hey Sean, you wanna grab food? And he would pay for my food, and we could just talk and have fun. We did that recently like when I was sad about Taylor and needed some space to just hang out with a buddy, and we did a spiritual ritual and got Korean barbecue, and it was nice, and I appreciated it. When I who else was it? There was someone else I was gonna mention, but a fly touching my forehead made me forget. It's okay. But I oh yeah, I signed up for this thing. I just remembered. I won't talk too much about it, but let's just say I found an organization where they'll make you a baked tray of food if you really request it. And I just realized it's like, oh, I could do that again. They allow you to do it like once a month. And you know what? I need it. And last month was great. I would love to have another one of those baked trays of food to enjoy, because the last time I opened it up and someone made me a nice warm baked veggie lasagna, I was the happiest girl on earth. I was smiling from ear to ear, feeling like I was so blessed, because I was. And I can do that again. I totally forgot. You're never as scarce as you think. There's always people around and resources around to help you. I'm just letting you know. And I'm so grateful I remember that for myself. And finally, because my arm's starting to hurt from this fuck ass camera, let's get to the final part of the dream. You know how I said at the start of the dream it was supposed to be like a big birthday bash for me, boozy style, that I was getting ready for on some empty, cold, barren field where there were just like stray people waiting around or standing around or running around? I forgot to mention it was pretty dark and stormy during on that field too, but I guess it was more just like representative of like representative of how I felt my social life was. You know, barren, cold, empty, dark, sad. And that if there were people around, it was just people just watching to see what I would do or if I would get big or if something cool would happen. But watching with envy or disgust or just apathy. They wouldn't care unless something big happened, so then they can brag about being near me. That's happened plenty of times before. I've had people who will lurk all the time, and it doesn't matter how my life is going, unless it's like something big that I go viral over. Suddenly, those people will be like, "Hey, girl, do you remember me? Yeah, you've known me since you were a teenager, right?" It's like, see, you're just trying to piggyback off of what you think is going to be fame. Plot twist: it's only 15 minutes. So get off my dick in that time period. Or it'll be somebody trying to be all like, yeah, that's usually it. It's just like, okay, like I remember some of the most depressing things that happened for me is that after a big community event I throw or a performance I visit and have a great time meeting people at, or after like an amazing I'm trying to think of how to phrase it. After an amazing event that I throw for other people, or is thrown for me, or anything, it doesn't change the fact that usually the next morning after, my phone is still bone fucking dry on all social media. It would drive you crazy to know that you don't truly have any friends that care about you on a day to day, but it's okay. Because things are changing now, and it's not going to be like before. And even if it is, I will always find a way to make myself happy, even when my phone's dry, even when it's bone dry, even when I don't have anyone to talk to on any social media. I will always find a way, and it will always be okay. So yeah, I feel a lot better now that I got this off my chest. Maybe I don't need a meal ticket or some lame people around me. Maybe I just need the best people around me, and people who actually feel like a loving, accepting community, who can treat me well and won't just let their rage or their wealth or whatever stupid bullshit is wrong with them blind them. And I have a lot of cool people around me who genuinely care. And even if it's hard for them to show it sometimes, they will still show it and be there. And I'll be okay. Anyway, your girl's gotta place an order for a big tray of food and probably spend the rest of her day happy as fuck looking at cool stuff on Etsy now. Some beautiful jewelry that won't remind her of the lame ass nigga she had a spa date with, who honestly, the sex wasn't even that great, and honestly, his ass was kind of flat, like he was insecure about. Or not, his ass was okay. It was his hips. His hips and his hips were not cool. I did not like those. And Michael's a lot cuter anyway. I like Michael. He's cute. Don't tell him I said that. And I'm gonna look at pretty jewelry. And even if it's not the expensive stuff, it's okay. My birthday's like a few months away anyway. I can get it then. From other people. And, yeah, I'll be okay. And a part of me wants to be like, oh, Tamia, you could have asked Taylor for Prada or Miu Miu. It's like, okay, but I didn't want to. I didn't want Prada or Miu Miu. I wanted earrings. And friendship and love. And it's okay, because at the end of the day, without Taylor around, there's always going to be someone else who will buy me Prada and Miu Miu. But you know what? I want community, love, and earrings. And they all didn't need to come from Taylor. And I'm going to get some new fucking better jewelry than what I thought were the starter pair that I'd be getting with Taylor. I'm going to use the refund money to buy myself something more cool. Like, hell, that's enough money where I could buy myself like a full fancy ass ball gown if I wanted to. Actually, yeah. I have a fucking replica bad bitch like dress website I have been looking at, and I have been wanting a new sexy dress for a while, so that then I don't just have 2 or 3 dresses to wear on a fancy date before I start running out. Like, I'm just saying, I could do a lot with that. I could buy, yeah, I found one where I could get some really gorgeous Ethiopian purple that really stands out 10 times more than the piece I was going to let Taylor's original purchase get me. So yeah, I could have fun with this tonight. And I'm going to watch that fucking Chinese drama that I was watching near Taylor, and I'm going to unassociate it with him, and I'm going to eat lasagna, and I'm going to be happy. Thank you for listening. Bye.